here's the first encounter of the dungeon. For sake of time for later on in the videos, we are going to spend a little bit more time in this one explaining how the mechanics work, but also keep in mind that all the mechanics moving forward are the same, excluding a couple towards the end of the dungeon where the wires that we're going to be talking about actually turn red. And the difference between the red and yellow wires, the yellow wire you see over there, is that the red ones have to be shot in rapid succession. There is a specific countdown timer that doesn't get displayed in game, but if you don't get all of them shot within a specific amount of time, they'll basically all reset and go back to where you have to start over shooting them again. So again, that's for red. So we'll go ahead and get this started off here. There's going to be a Minotaur that spawns. This guy here, the Conduit Minotaur. And we're going to get him killed, and he's going to drop a buff. So here's the buff pool. Step into this to get the Arctician buff. And our goal when we have this buff is to get all of these wires lit up. And just for sake of playing the dungeon a few times, I know where all the starting points are, but for the guys that are running it for the first time, this is the one I always start with because it's closest, but you can see the box with the blinking white arrow represents a start point. So you shoot that, follow the wire. There's the next one in the chain. You follow the wire from that one. There's the next one in the chain. Then the next. And then the next. Now, bear in mind, these guys up here, the mortars they shoot down at you are no joke. They are going to be ruthless to you the entire game. Or the entire encounter, rather. So, as I stated before, there was the second one, or the third one that we shot, then we're going to follow it. You can see it goes straight to the center, to this pad. Once you get all four of these completed, it will finish the encounter and you'll move on to the next section. So we'll begin the second one. This is usually the next one that I go to. Again, there's the arrows to represent a starting point. Shoot it, it starts. You follow the wire. These guys will chase you down and explode in your face and kill you instantly. So be very aware of them. Here's your next point. I'm just kind of trying to stay alive here. Need some ability regen going on. Let me cut down some of these ads a little bit. Typically I would be going a little bit faster here, but for sake of explanation, it's kind of slowing me down some. So again, that was the next one that we shot. I'm going to follow it on the floor. You can see it goes over here. There's our next one. There's your next wire. Follow it out, and it finishes this one. Rinse and repeat the process. Here's the starting point of the third one. You can follow that. You can see it comes all the way over here. And then goes up top. Keep following. There's your next point. And there you go for the Minotaurs, or the Cyclopses. But as you guys can see, like I said, they do one shot pretty easily. You could probably make this situation a little easier on yourself by switching your chest piece out to a void damage resistance. But there's Void isn't really the only thing that's going through the entire dungeon. So I'm going to go ahead and end this video, finish this encounter, I'll get myself to the next one, and I will explain how that one works. So, get you guys in a minute. See? The encounter just finished. I lit up all the wires. All four of these got completed. floor opens up, we'll move on to the next section. This fall is ruthless. You definitely want to keep slowing yourself down, or else, especially if you're on a solo, this is a pretty rough encounter under, to be honest with you. So we can also identify the computers as we come through the dungeon. So this is number 1.
They were rivals in the Golden Age.
Move on to the next section here.
This wasn't just a pillory site, it was a joint research facility, focused on extrasolar colonization efforts. The Soul Divisive have been scouring research logs. They were looking for something more than to imprison Rasputin's subminds.
This will be the second computer. So right as you come down the hall, you're going to drop down right there and grab it. Highly recommend having some sort of scout or linear for this next part. Silly me, I did not bring one, so we're going to see if we can breeze through it with just invis. But you will see why I say scout rifle, sniper rifle, something like that is necessary. Oh, I need stompies on too. Just realized. Well, maybe not. So the next computer is going to be right there. And the way we're going to get to it we'll be crossing over this area. Oh, I hit my jump too early. Let's pop an invis real quick. We're going to jump around this wall. Here's our next computer. And then the only secret chest that I know of so far is going to be this one right here. You open it. I've already grabbed it this week. I'm not going to spend any time with these ads because the second I start shooting them, the second they're going to start really screwing me up. So, let's pop an invis real quick to get past this Hydra. Oh, I've never actually fallen through that. You can see the next computer there over to the left. So that will be the next area that we're going to go. Hopefully this Hydra doesn't screw things up for us. There's your next one.
At times I feel like I am with them. That this is my
And we'll take the grad lift. And this will bring us to Country's favorite section. It's a shout out to X Country there for his favorite part in the entire dungeon, which is paying close attention to how nice these hardwood floors are. Look at these hardwood floors. Man. Nothing special in this room. Just run through.
Could it be linked to my visions? Why else would the witness be interested in these files?
Climb our way to the top. And our next computer is going to be right here.
step away from your
Nice little rally banner. Make our way to the top for the next encounter of the dungeon. There's no bosses up here. Same thing as the first encounter. We're going to run around. We're going to shoot and light up these yellow wires. Same thing, we're going to get a buff from the Minotaur that's here. But the starting point will be represented pretty much where the Minotaur spawns. I'll show you that in just a second. But this is the ending point. Once you complete the circuit for both of the wires, this is going to open up a grav lift, which will take you up to the next section. And that's basically a rinse and repeat of this section. The mechanic gets a little bit more difficult just because the more nodes that you have to shoot, and the amount of ads that spawn in. So ad management is a big deal in this dungeon. They never stop spawning. You can never wipe out all the ads and just be safe. So bear that in mind when you're doing this one. So here is our Minotaur, and you can see, oh, well, a little bit of a glitch there, I guess. Yeah, definitely. You can see the starting point. There's the arrows again. So I'm just going to go ahead and start both of these. So our next point for that one. You can see the wire just goes. So, as you guys can see, I shot that one and nothing happened. The wire didn't go blue. That is due to the fact that I missed a wire, or a node, back this way, which is right here on the floor. Wire went blue, completed that circuit. And the next one. Oh, I'm still missing one. I believe it's right up in here somewhere. The way that I've been running this dungeon with yep, it's right there. So, we need a Minotaur again, because we lost our buff. Here he is. Big guy. Nice Witherhorde whiff. There's the one I missed earlier. Then we'll move to the next one. And it comes down to the floor. And that'll complete the circuit for the first one. Rinse and repeat for the next. So, there's a ton of ads that way. So we are just going to run this direction. Grab an invis. We get 15 seconds on our buff there on the left. So there's our starting point. We shot the second one already. That's going to come down to here. Try to get rid of some ads. We do need a new buff too, so just hit that, hit that. Get him out of here. Exploders. Big time nemesis in this dungeon. These guys are rough. They do a very good job at ending your run very, very quickly. So next one's down here on the bottom. Just kind of hiding out down there. Come over here to the end point. Here's the next one. And then finally the last one. So that's pretty much it for this entire encounter. If you do that quick enough, you can actually carry your buff up to the next section, find the starting points, and then, you know, continue wreaking havoc that way. But again, explaining this kind of slows the process down a little bit. So we are, yep, there he is. Gonna find him, steal his buff, grab some invis, and get to the starting point. So, starting point is here. Do not pass through the electric beams you see there. Oh, I just jumped off. So you don't want to pass through the electric beams at the starting point. Those guys are, depending on your level of resistance, they can one-shot you. So be very wary of those. And when you die for a solo player, it starts this encounter over again. So, for the sake of the video, I'm actually going to just get myself through the phase that you had just seen, and then get to the top. Once we get up to the top, that's where the first boss encounter is. I'll restart the video there and explain how that encounter works. Catch you guys in a minute. Alright guys, so I finished the rest of the encounter that we just left off on. There's the chest at the end. Some cowboy armor. I'm gonna get, or not, hunter jump fails.
A Vex mine remains in this terminal like an
There will
open door.
be a final
It's using the
computer
tower's
in here,
arrays to connect with installations across Seoul.
which is right
This
over here.
must be in preparation to imprison the submines. Breaking their connection could end this threat.
And we want to get up to this catwalk right here to get to the switch, which then opens the glass, and we want to jump up here. Welcome to a mini Garden of the Salvation. So, again, same concept as the rest of the encounters. This one's a little bit better because I can actually walk around a little bit and explain this to you guys. So maybe this would be... I don't want to use this as a starting video, but you can see there's 4 starting points for all the wires in the middle, each going out to these platforms. They are numbered, and they go clockwise, so that's 1. There's 2, 3, and then 4. The numbers are pretty much useless. It's whenever I do this with the clan members, myself, country, anybody experienced with the dungeon, it's not really necessary to call the numbers out on the platforms because you can just kind of glance at them and see which ones are completed and which ones aren't, specifically because when the platform is complete and the circuit is completed to the middle, the end point right there on each of these, they will drop. So the way the encounter works, you guys work, fight your ads, get your buffs, and you're going to close down all of these platforms. The last person to have their platform closed is basically where the DPS is going to start on the boss. So let's say this is the last platform. All of you will come back here, and by no means is this the perfect way to do this. Dungeon's still fresh. I've ran it, I don't know, 7 or 8 times now. This is what works best for us. So if you're 3-man in it, we found that a well, obviously for the DPS and for the health, is good. I've ran this a couple times with a Void Titan with a bubble. So once the damage phase starts, this will collapse. The boss is going to rush you. He's going to get up right in your face right here. You throw a bubble down, throw a well down. That's going to give you your weapons a light, and then your the well. Everyone knows what a well does at this point. So once he gets in your face, his wings are going to open up and he's going to expose all of these different eyes. For anybody who's done a Garden of Salvation raid, yes, it's pretty much the same thing. You're going to shoot all of the eyes so that way that the boss moves away from you. As he's moving away, you're going to focus his crit spot in the center and damage him. He's going to come all the way back to the center, right down in there, depending on how fast you get the eyes shot off. And he's going to do his quote-unquote white mechanic, if you want to call it that. Basically, he sends out a massive shockwave that, depending on where you're standing, it knocks you back. So if you're standing up here, it's going to knock you clear back to the end of this platform. So if you don't have yourself focused in the center of it, if you decide to stay on top, if you're this way or if you're this way, it's going to knock you back and blow you off the map. If you're a solo runner for the dungeon, that's going to be a bad time because it's going to end your run instantaneously. So what I like to do is when you're ready to damage, you pull out your damage weapon. For me, I'm going to use a Storm Chaser here with auto-loading Vorpal and Witherhoard, and Tether. So I like to walk down this platform, and just basically you're going to focus as crit. I like to stay to the left a little bit, so that way I'm not walking and shooting and do that right there. So once I get to, you know, pretty much this area here, I'll stand and I'll keep hitting him until he starts his white mechanic. And basically when that starts, he'll sit still. You'll kind of hear the sound of him charging up. I guess it's pretty faint, but it's there. And then whenever he goes to do the white mechanic, I drop down and I'll run forward. And if sometimes it'll hit you right here, sometimes it doesn't. If it does, you'll basically do one of these ricochet things and you'll be fine. Your chances of getting blown off are pretty minimal. So he does have a good bit of health, not nearly as much as the last boss, but it takes us 3 damage phases with a 3-man team to do this. As a solo player, if I can get Tether every single time and get my my damage buff coming out of Invis, I think this is going to take me 5 or 6 encounters. So what I'll do, just to keep your guys' attention and not have you sit here bored all day, I'm going to run through 1 damage phase, so that way you guys know what to do. And then after that, it's just basically rinse and repeat. So let's get a rally flag down. Let's get Storm Chasers on. Go ahead and rally. We'll go ahead and start the encounter. Hello. So we're looking for a Minotaur for our buff. There's our buff. Move to the middle. Go ahead and start all of these. I'm just going to basically pick one and start the process. There could be a faster way to do this. This is just what works for me. It's safe. It's keeping me away from ads a little bit. My main goal is to stay alive. There's one down. Rinse and repeat. Not necessarily that I kill this Minotaur. I actually still have a good bit of time on the buff, but whatever. You dirty bitch. Almost knocked me off the edge. And this last one's going to be our damage phase. Don't think I'm going to be able to get it finished before I need another buff. Maybe? Seven seconds. I think it's over here somewhere on the edge. No, I'm not going to get it done in time. Be smart. Don't die. Yeah, it's on the edge there. There it is. Alright. Damage phase. Completely screwed this up. Yep. You can see there. Shooting all the eyes off. It's my first go at a solo run. Just wanted to come in, give you guys the mechanics, show you how things work. I have not figured out the best way to do that part of the dungeon yet. As you can see, you're sitting there trying to shoot those eyes off. If you don't get them shot off fast enough, he does his white mechanic, and if he's that close to you, it's instantaneous death. So I'm gonna have to figure out probably some ad management. Get some of those ads taken down a little bit more, um, and go from there. I don't think the Void Overshield's going to keep me alive long enough to get the eyes shot off and then do damage. So I'm going to work to figure that out. But that is how this encounter goes in this mechanic. I will follow up with you guys at the end of the dungeon once I get to it to show you how the final boss mechanic works. So I'll catch you guys in a bit. Thanks.